Hello and welcome to Morris Park. As you can see today, we're having a full-on snow. I think this is going to be about the heaviest snow we've had this year. I think we've already got a couple of inches. It's still coming down very heavy. There's times today it's been so heavy that it looks like goose feathers falling out of the sky. As you can see, our dogs are having a bit of fun in it. Hi, Dweezil. Hi, Logie. This is Dweezil, our dog, our lab. He kind of likes the snow. And this is Logan, two dogs. Now, he doesn't like the snow so much, but during the day, he's kind of a bad boy, so we can't let him stay in the house. So they both have a heated dog house in there. They can get in during the day. But as you can see, our cedar trees is the eastern red cedar, Juniperus virginiana. And it's covered in snow, as well as some of the other ones around the park here. This is such as it is in the park in the winter. All our big trees covered in snow. And this is our golden variegated bamboo. As you can see, it's pretty well weighted down with the snow. And the reason they call this golden variegated bamboo is because the actual stems, and if you look, the stems have green stripes in them. Now, these look pretty pitiful right now, but these will all pop right back up. They'll spring back up as soon as the snow's gone off of this. And probably by, I'd say this weekend or so, they'll be standing straight back up. But as you can see, we are just really covered here. Like I say, this is probably our heaviest snow for the year. And pretty soon, in a minute or two, I'm going to show you the inside of the greenhouse, and we'll see how it's doing inside the greenhouse. Okay, we're in the greenhouse now. As you can see, I'm kind of dressed for the outside. As you can see outside that I just showed you. I'm going to show you some of the plants in the greenhouse and show you that everything's actually doing very well in here despite the cold temperatures and stuff we've had. So anyway, I'll let you see a few things and explain what's going on in here, and show you that you actually can keep cactus and succulents in cold weather climates. Now, as you can see, everybody looks like they're doing pretty good. Now, some of these plants here, you'll notice they look a little droopy, and some of them you can see some of the shriveling in the tissues here. And that's because they don't really water much of anything, my Euphorbia enigma. And it looks like it's all wilty and everything, but actually it's doing just fine. Many of these plants are in their winter state, and so they'll be pretty much asleep, and they won't be growing any new leaves or anything for a while, especially like on these Euphorbias I'm showing you here. Some of these I've had dry since fall. There's a couple I've given water to, such as this Euphorbia flanaganii, one of the medusoid euphorbias. I've given it a little water because it really started to look sad, and if you go too far on some of these like this, they'll actually start losing a lot of their little arms and stuff like this. And I really don't want it to lose any of its arms. So I've given it a little water, as well as a couple of the other succulents that are still growing, like aeoniums and so forth. Such as this aeonium right here. It's real starved for light, but that's just because we haven't got much sun here lately. It's been rather dim. We've had very cold weather, so I've been rather afraid to actually water some of this. But it is growing, as you can see. It's fresh and green and looking pretty good, and that's some of the few I've actually watered. And along with this Crassula ovata, or the old name Argentea, they will get a little bit of water, whereas a lot of this stuff won't. Believe it or not, I've actually kept my dragon fruit cactus here fairly dry, and it's just because I get a little bit worried about it rotting or getting black spot if I give it water during these cold temperatures. So I kind of refrain from that, and it's actually done very well. Now, some of the cacti and stuff like that, as I say, they're going to be staying very dry for about another month. Come March or so, I will actually start watering some of these things and seeing them on their way to springtime. Still, as of right now, they are very dry, and as I say, doing very well. Look at the color in that. Beautiful color in that General Calaceum moon cactus cultivar. Everything doing well. My Eublemania pectinifera I've had for many years, like 36 years on this one. Of course, it's been grafted so I can keep the roots, and it actually helps it through this cold weather in the greenhouse, because I don't have to worry about the roots rotting off it or getting too cold and dying. But everything looks pretty good. As I say, some of the little euphorbias and stuff that get leaves, you'll see those leaves shrivel up and fall off. I've swept a few off of there just to clean it up a bit. And see, it's got a few leaves on the normal part. Now, these normal parts here like this, I'll probably end up trimming them off later on in the springtime, because actually it takes away from the crested growth. They'll start growing normal sometimes, and the crested growth will slow down. So I'll want to cut that normal growth off like that. Some of the other euphorbias, this pulvinata, it looks pretty rough right now, and you can see some of the dead leaves on it, and I need to kind of sweep some of them off. But if you look, it's been blooming. And this euphorbia typically does this during the winter. It'll bloom when it's in its dormant period. I'm not sure exactly why, but it does that. But when this euphorbia finally grows out, get some of these leaves off of here. When this euphorbia actually grows out, it'll get really nice top of leaves on it, and it really looks really nice with all the leaves all over it. And I'll show you some of that this summer when it gets really good and going. And of course, my large Euphorbia abyssinica. This is the normal form of the crest right here. But all the leaves are gone off of it. It's in its dormant state. Also, my Pachypodium jai. You can see most of the leaves are kind of drying off on it. And although this looks a little bad, it's actually not. I'll put this out in the springtime, and it will grow them right back. Same with this crown of thorns. I keep it kind of cool. You can see a few green leaves. And as you see, it actually continues to bloom all through the winter. Whether I actually water it much or not. I give this one a little water every once in a while, but not too much. But you can see all the new little buds and everything that are on it, despite not giving it any water. But once springtime comes in, another month or so, I'll start watering this up, and all those nice leaves will come right on back. And it truly does look like the crown of thorns, as you can see, without all the leaves all over it. It's a very spiny plant. But it's doing well. My Sansevieria cylindrica, it's in its dormant state. And you can kind of see, if you look closely, the leaves kind of shrivel just a little bit and kind of pull in. And that's perfectly normal. My other Sansevierias across the way there, they kind of do the same thing. The flat-leafed ones, I try to keep the water to them so they won't get too dried out. And most of the leafy plants, of course, like citrus trees and so forth, I will actually keep watering. In fact, I've just watered the lemon tree right now. And like the orchids and so forth, I'll water them too. But for the most part, most things will stay fairly dry. And it looks like we'll need to do a little bit of a sweeping up on the floor from some of the leaves and stuff that have fallen off. And I'll probably get on that this weekend when I've got a little less to do. Because during a week like this, coming home from work and so forth, it's a little bit trying to try to do stuff. Now this one, I'll probably be giving it some water soon too. As you can see, the leaves kind of curled a little bit. But as I say, some of these aloes are pretty tough. And I don't worry too much about that. So I'll water it probably pretty soon. I'll water it within the next day or two, and it'll start coming back out. But I try not to give too much water during these dry periods. Excuse me, not just the dry periods, but the cloudy weather type periods like we're having now. My monodaniums, I've let them dry down, and even though they've dried down, they're blooming. You can see the blooms in them. That's a Lugarde. I believe this one is a Guntheri, is what it is. And pretty soon I'll have to start watering them again, like a lot of these. but everything's kept pretty dry. And like I say, some of these look almost like they're shriveled up. That's my sporallus. And a lot of you are going, oh my goodness, look at that. It looks like it's about to die. No, it's not about to die. This is in its winter state, and I try to keep it this way. This was a very pricey little cactus, and it came all the way from Italy, and I do not want this to rot. So I'm keeping it dry. Another month, I'll water this, and this will actually all plump out, and it'll look thick and round like this one. And even though I haven't watered this one, it still stayed pretty good. These Stenosarius prunosus actually seem to keep their shape pretty well. They don't lose too much shape during all this period. You can see my Areocarpus are kind of flat and dry. They're dry state. My little Astrophytum's about the same way. As well as this Opuntia here. And I believe this is a variation of Opuntia humifusa. And in just a second, I'm going to show you this. This is Opuntia humifusa in its native habitat. It grows here in Missouri as a native. I got this one at my mother's place some years ago. The plant is actually much larger than this. It's covered by all the snow, of course. But come springtime, around late May, early June, this will bloom out some of the most beautiful yellow flowers with red centers you've ever seen. It is absolutely beautiful. But it just shows you that cactus aren't necessarily just tied to warm areas. And a lot of you out there that are seeing this are probably going, man, I've never expected this. I would have never expected a cactus to be growing in a cold area such as this. But it actually does. And of course our summers get pretty hot and humid here. And this plant will just plump right back up and look beautiful come springtime. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you this and show you some of our snow around the place in the park. I'd like to just say hi to a few of my YouTube friends out there. I'd like to say hi to Hans of Family Cactusy and Other Beauties, and Lynn of Desert Plants of Avalon. How you doing, guys? And I'd also like to say hi to Daz and Edith of Cactomania. Guys, I hope you're feeling a lot warmer than I am right now. Believe me, I will sure enjoy it when this place thaws out and we start getting some warmth around here. Right now, it's not too bad. It's about 32 degrees. But anyhow, everybody out there, I hope you're feeling warmer than we are. Here from Morris Park, I'm Clyde Morris. Have a good evening.